Well, welcome to our podcast series, Work Happy. This episode is all about Enneagram 5, the investigator. And whether you're an Enneagram 5 or you work with one, this episode is designed to show you the gifts of an Enneagram 5 and also a couple of shifts that might just make work a happier place to be. This is 9 in 9, Enneagram Wisdom for Life. Let's dive in. The gifts of an Enneagram 5 at work are plentiful. They are deeply invested intellectually into the subject matter of their workplace. They are able to synthesize and bring together lots of information in a way that makes sense. They are very analytical and, in a sense, not emotionally tied to outcomes. So they're able to really make smart decisions most of the time. I want to invite you to listen in on my conversation with Casey, who is in project management, as she talks about her sweet spot at work.
I think for me as a 5, it helps if I can be a subject matter expert at work and if I have some autonomy. So when I have the opportunity to really master a subject and I can be a source of knowledge for people and they can come to me for advice or consultation, I that's kind of my sweet spot at work. It doesn't always work when you're not interested in the topic, so it has to be something that I find interesting so that I want to learn more about it. But I feel most comfortable when I feel really solid in my knowledge of what I'm supposed to be doing, and I have other people kind of depending on me for that advice or consultation. When you get to be a subject matter expert in an area that you're interested in. So you get to keep diving deeper and deeper into something that you love and something that you really like sharing with other people. And you get to have other people kind of come to you and depend on you for their answers. And maybe there's something in there with I want to be independent. I don't want to be dependent. Maybe I want other people to depend more on me than I do on them. So I really like being able to be the type of person who can dig really deep into a subject and really learn it, really understand it, and know it to a point where everybody else can kind of come to you as a resource and you can always have an answer for them. That feels really great. And I know not everybody has the patience or the interest or maybe the stamina to dive that deep into a subject or be a subject matter expert. I know a lot of people who call themselves jack of all trades, master of none. And I really feel like I'm much more suited to the master of something and not try to do a lot of different things. So yeah, being able to be that subject matter expert and a source of knowledge is really, it's kind of my favorite thing that I get to do in my work.
I love that. And it makes me think, like, if somebody has a 5 on their team, looking for opportunities to allow that person to go deep and be that would be really helpful to a 5, right? That would be
I
life
think
giving.
so. I think so, especially if it's something that they're interested in. There's an assumption that a 5 is going to dive deep and just try to learn everything they can about everything. I don't think that's the case. I think it has to be something that you're really interested in. So make sure it's something that they feel passionate about. That's actually, I think, going to help their energy and their doing. That's what I've experienced. Because if you're interested in it, you want to do more and it doesn't drain your energy as much as it fills you up. So that's definitely something that would be beneficial for a 5 team member.
I love the way Casey is so articulate and the way she has observed herself at work so well. The shift that I'm inviting you as an Enneagram 5 is to embrace the concept of grow over know. And here's what I mean by that. As an Enneagram 5, one of the ways that you can grow is by putting yourself in situations where you don't have all the answers, where maybe you are not the subject matter expert and you're going to have to rely on other people to get the information that you need. This is an uncomfortable outside the comfort zone for an Enneagram 5, but it is an excellent growth path. Casey does a great job explaining a short term assignment that she took to grow in just this exact way.
And I think when you are in roles where you do have to be a little bit of a jack of all trades, it's not very comfortable. So when I was in a role where I was just a point person and I was coordinating and it was in my skill set, but I was getting emails daily and I didn't know the answers. That's the worst thing, I think, for a 5 is that every time you get an email, the immediate answer is, I don't know. I have to go find someone else to find the answer. And I think it was probably a good stretch opportunity, because if you want to advance at a company, you need to have a little bit more breadth to your experience as opposed to depth. And the five's tendency is probably going to want to go into that depth. So it helped, but it was so uncomfortable on a daily basis to have to say, at least in my head, I don't know, multiple times a day. That's excruciating as a five.
Yeah.
If they wanted to stretch, it would be to try to take a short-term assignment or some role that they knew was just project based, where you're going to have to go a little more breadth, and just be prepared to be a little uncomfortable in that, but just know that that's going to help strengthen or expand your comfort zone.
So, as you may have guessed, the temptation for an Enneagram 5 is to not join a class that they aren't already fully subject experts in. At the end of each episode in this series, I've been inviting you to check out my Enneagram class called Designed for More. Now, if you're an Enneagram 5, the temptation is going to be become an Enneagram expert on your own. But I want to invite you to fight that temptation and to put yourself in a situation where maybe you won't know all of the answers at first. My class, Designed for More, is a very safe place for you to learn more about yourself and the ways in which you can grow. You can look at the information for the class by clicking on the links in my bio and the links below. This is the last class I'm offering in 2025, so I hope you'll join us. And there's a discount code for podcast listeners. When you check out, just use the code podcast and you're going to save $99. All right, Enneagram 5, I'm counting on you to embrace, grow over know, and join the class Designed for More.